Worthless idiots. Worthless. That's what I named this video, with lack of a better word. Here's this guy's mugshot right here. Barry Loudermilk, one of my reps. I've been contacting my reps about chemtrails, or weather modification, or also known as AKA geology. Whatever wordy word they want to use to make it sound like it's nothing. Even though, they got these planes in the sky dumping chemicals out in the form of strontium, barium, sulfur dioxide, like known as acid rain, aluminum, things that are killing the planet, the trees, the crops, the waterways. And I'm asking, I sent him and this guy, his mugshot, Raphael Warlock, specific questions pertaining to this. I'll show you in a minute. Back on, well, let's see. I got his automated spew out on November 17th. That was either my first or second. Or I contacted them. They're supposed to get back with you. How long? 3, November 17th. This is November the 27th. Nothing. I even called their offices and told them how they hadn't got back with me. And, we'll bump it up. Well, we see your emails where they came in. We'll bump it up to the top of the list. It needs, be addressed as soon as possible. Nothing. Nothing back. Nothing back from this guy, Barry Loudermilk, Raphael Warlock, John Ossoff. Now, this guy, he actually wrote me back, but he wrote me back something that had nothing to do with my questions, which was on chemtrails. And I'll show you what he writes back. And then when I wrote him back, where he wrote me back, saying that, I'm sorry, this doesn't have anything to do with what I was talking about, he writes me back about methane, how he's controlling methane, protecting us, working on the environment, trying to protect us from methane. Cow farts, I guess. I guess that's what they're up there. These groupies are having business meetings about how cows, having gas is what's causing all the problems in the world. I said, I didn't say one word. Not one word of methane. And he didn't write me back. He doesn't bother writing me back. Furthermore, the EPA, I'll call the governor's office, they sent this guy an email to contact me. So he contacts me via my email. We were made aware that you have some questions regarding air quality. If you can initially provide us your questions via email, we can find the appropriate technical staff to answer them. I'm on trouble with any facility, blah, blah, blah. This was on September 13th. I look forward to receiving your questions. Well, I spent some time. I have a science degree, and I've been looking into this. And I spent some time working on my questions, my email back. And I wrote him back on November the 13th. Did I ever hear back from him? Nothing. Nothing back. Even called him. Nothing back. And I just called another office down there and told them, and leave another message, I guess. But this is what, initially, this is what I sent these idiots that we're paying taxes to, paying a crap load of taxes to these people, and they're so arrogant they don't even bother answering your frickin' email or important questions. These are important questions. They're not just, nutty questions from nowhere, because the fact is the state of Tennessee just banned this crap, chemtrails, and all these other states have bills waiting on a vote. But I will show you. This is what I gotta look it up again here. This is what I sent them. My information from, this is a letter I broke down a while back. Stop Sky Chemtrails. This is actually a flyer I made. And proof it's not a conspiracy. Chemtrails owned and operated by Homeland Security. Well, that's on my video. That's one of my videos you can watch. Now owns your weather. Things being dumped on us. Radiation absorbing aerosols at storm periphery. Sulfur dioxide. I'll look so you can see it. Sulfur dioxide. Strontium 90. Barium, aluminum, and sulfur. 3D reduced graphene oxide. So, composite for ice nucleation cloud seeding. Aluminum, cadmium, zinc. Viruses. Chaff. Looks like snow, but it's actually mylar fibers coated with aluminum. Desiccated blood cells. Plastic and paper. Black carbon dust, also known as soot. That'll tear your lungs up. Silver iodide, potassium iodide, carbon dioxide as solid dry ice is a registered pesticide that is also used in cloud seeding. This is not the same as regular CO2, carbon dioxide, as the air exhaled or plant food, because that stuff is not hazardous, but this is what they're using. Propane, calcium carbide, ammonium nitrate, sodium chloride, used on more rare occasions like drought due to its cost. It's all up. Urea compound, also known as crop fertilizer. One patent is filed on the titanium dioxide sodium chloride material for warm cloud seeding, and another patent is filed for porous graphite oxide, silica dioxide, nano-compensated for cold cloud seeding. Now, then I looked up the health effects of each of these things being dumped on us, which is the EPA's job. That's their job. Sulfur dioxide has adverse health effects on the human respiratory, cardiovascular, and nervous system that causes type 2 diabetes and non-accidental deaths. Sulfur dioxide is one of the 6 criteria pollutants in the Air Quality Index. Causes acid rain. Okay? Why can't Mr. EPA guy at least answer my questions? Black carbon dust, also known as soot, major cause of global warming and cause of cardiovascular diseases, cancer, respiratory disease. They used to call it the old chimney sweepers disease. Back in the day when they, the chimney sweepers, they'd get lung cancer from the soot. The old carcinoma is a squamous cell carcinoma of the skin of the scrotum. Chimney sweeps. Aluminum, Alzheimer's disease, and breast cancer are taken as... breast cancer? They're doing all this research. They always want handouts for their stupid studies, when it's usually just the obvious, Oh, I had my old landlady, I'll never forget, she was going to the same college I was. She was an older person that went back to college, and she was commenting one day about this class. They were talking about how plants grow, crops or whatever, and she says, they're talking about things I've known for years. How to grow crops. I'm fixing to do a video on that too, on that bull crap, fertilizer crap. But breast cancer is aluminum. Look up in the sky. Maybe that's what's causing it. They're not going to tell you that, though. Aluminum's neurotoxic effects in humans and its embryonic toxic effects in animal models. Silver iodide is one of their favorites. With cloud seeding. Oh, by the way, the black carbon dust and silver iodide are also... they love to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They can increase the speed of hurricanes and redirect them to slam into cities like they've been doing. Cloud seeding may moderately affect biota living in both terrestrial and aquatic systems. If cloud seeding is repeatedly applied in a specific area and large amounts of seeding materials accumulate in the environment, affect cyanobacteria, there are other adverse health effects as well. Exposure to silver can lead to agriosis, methylglobinaemia, anxiety, seizures, cardiac arrest. Scientists also say people who inhale a lot of silver iodide risk permanent lung damage. Silver lung, because it's delivered in such small doses. Right now, the negative effects of silver iodide are minimal. According to Reeves, however, spraying is on the rise. The government, like they're doing today, they're doing a few days before that, a week before that, 3 days. I mean, I take videos every time I go out and see it. The government has increased the amount of silver iodide it is releasing into the atmosphere by nearly 800% over the last decade. Once these contaminated particles are inhaled, they can deposit in the lungs and cause irritation. Ingestion of silver iodide can lead to nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Prolonged exposure can cause agraria, I'm not sure how to say that, a condition where silver deposits in the tissues, causing them to turn gray or blue or gray. People living in areas where silver iodide is used for cloud seeding are at risk for the above toxicity. 5. They're also dumping strontium-90 on you. How can strontium affect people's health? Strontium-90 behaves like calcium in the human body and tends to deposit in bone and blood-forming tissue. Thus, strontium-90 is referred to as bone seeker, and exposure will increase the risk of several diseases, including bone cancer, cancer of soft tissue near the bone, and leukemia. Yeah, I saw on the news last night this doctor in Florida, doing research on leukemia. And he's like, narrowed it down to some little fungus. Really? Leukemia? You want to know what causes freaking leukemia? You morons? Okay, first of all, there was a doctor in Atlanta. I live in the Atlanta area, Georgia. A doctor had said that Atlanta had one of the highest leukemia rates in the country, and he said because of the water. Because that's another video I need to do, but I do touch on it in my video on my channel where it says proof that is gay causes AIDS. I get it. That is, the doctor said it in kids. To my water quality research from college. Atlanta, the last I heard, would rather pay fines of $10,000 a day because that's cheaper than fixing the problem. They only use secondary treatment when they should use tertiary, and they use chlorine, causes chloramines, and I suppose that causes leukemia. Not to mention strontium-90 now being dumped on them. So just don't donate to these stupid cancer research facilities. Okay, you're just wasting your time. 6. Graphene compounds. Toxic, depending on its size and shape. Symptoms range from lung, pulmonary fibrosis, acute... I just did a video, part 1 through 3, on graphene oxide. I get into all this. Pulmonary edema. They put this stuff in the vaccines. Acute lung inflammation, pulmonary edema, granular, immune cell, and it just tears your system up. That's why they want to inject you with that. Calcium carbide cause irritation of lungs and coughing. When mixed with water, it produces acetylene. It's a colorless glass used as a chemical building block and also as a fuel. And there's now proof that the Department of Homeland Security is now involved with our weather. They have one disturbing fact, is them using black carbon dust to increase the speed of hurricanes. So they have been caught using geoengineering as a weapon and not a mitigation. In fact, in 2008, the DHS received $64 million to test the effect of aerosol geoengineering on hurricanes. $64 million to test the effect of aerosol geoengineering on hurricanes. Why? So they can wipe out cities and have people move? How much are they spending on these chemtrails, these big drums of strontium and barium? I'll show you that video in a minute from this ex-military officer whistleblower. How much money are they wasting? And we gotta pay them taxes and walk around with no money? Scrape up coins to eat? They make me sick. And I agree with Putin. They're dumb as a table. They've lost their freaking mind. So they've been caught using geoengineering as a weapon. Okay? Hurricane Katrina was the basis of the Project HAMP, Hurricane Aerosol and Microphysics Program. Harold Sieve says the evidence is too strong that Frankenstorm Sandy and Nemo the Blizzard were created by DHS as deliberate weapons of mass destruction. Who are the terrorists? Them! The Nazi pieces of crap. And climate terrorism. And he says it all comes down to one motive, to persuade voters, the globalist carbon tax, to make more money off you. And tax. And climate change agenda come up for a vote. Combine that tidbit with Jason Box, a glaciologist who had identified black carbon soot as a major cause of polar ice melts. In his paper bounding the role of black carbon in climate system, Box concludes that soot can melt Greenland's ice caps faster than methane. That's what they want to push. Oh, cow farts, methane. Pair that with all the carbon soot dumps for all the fabricated hurricanes and storms, along with a contention of truth by Grace's YouTube channel of how wildfires in California were started by laser technology, combined with smart meter fires and the like, one can only conclude from this that if there were such a global warming trend, the government would be the number one likely suspect. Even NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, has concerns about DHS meddling with the weather. At least they did. They probably fired all the good people from there. In 2009, Richard Spinrad, NOAA's assistant administrator for OAR, Ocean and Atmospheric Research, sent a memo to the last DHS program idiot, program manager for advanced research, William Laska, writing that while OAR recognizes that weather modification in general is occurring through the funding of private enterprises, NOAA does not, let me repeat that, NOAA does not support research that entails efforts to modify hurricanes. Budget cuts for NOAA were soon to follow by $182 million. $182 million budget cut. It certainly looks like there's a price to be paid by anyone who says no to the Department of Homeland Security or these other idiots that are involved. A little spoiled brat, pea brain. You know, I wish Bill Gates and Fossey and these people. Yeah, I wish, you know, somebody could throw them up into the ionosphere and let them fall back down as a sulfur dioxide coated with strontium crud ball, piece of slime crud ball, to be washed away in a sewer drain pipe. People behind. That's what I think. That's what I think. By hurricanes. In fact, it goes back to Project Cirrus, where a bunch of agencies like Office of Naval Research, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Weather Bureau, U.S. Army, and Signal Corps dumped silver iodine into a hurricane in 1947 that was headed out to sea. What happened next was it changed both direction and speed and smashed into Savannah, Georgia, causing extensive damage and one life. The public was furious. So the DoD put a 13-year moratorium on weather modification. So my question, who opened it back up? What you can do is call these slime bag representatives and demand an answer back. Maybe you'll get an answer back from yours. Or go to, I think it's geoengineering.com, and you can download some free flyers. And I would suggest to put a dent in their little evil schemes. Is what they don't want is a word to get out about this and people doing stuff. Print out some flyers and go hand them out. I pay for flyers out of my own damn pocket. anything to piss them off and get this, get this crap stopped. Hang on, let me go back over here. I'll show you. If you go to geoengineering, I think it's .org or .com. Let me make sure. Got the right one. I think it was. Now look at that. That's weird. I still download the flyers. That must not be it. Well, how to get involved? I don't know where that went. The flyers. 404-562-9052. Get his butt moving. It's his job. But when they didn't answer that, I said, well, no, first let's read this cow fart letter that I get back. Let's read that first. Okay. Here it is. So I write him a letter. Okay, and he writes, and John also got back with me November 15th. And this is what he writes me. What I just read you is what I sent him. And this is what he writes me back. You can't make his stuff up. Here's a seal. United States Senate. Dear Laura, thank you for contacting my office to share your support for reducing methane emissions. Did I say anything about methane in that letter I read you? I appreciate hearing from you. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, methane traps about 28 times as much heat as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere over a 100-year period. Every American deserves clean air and water, and we have a responsibility to be stewards of our natural environment. Yeah, that's what I'm asking you to do. We're confronting urgent environmental challenges. Contamination of our air and water by pollutant chemicals, microplastics, and toxins is damaging human health, wildlife habitats in America and around the world. That is why I continue to champion policies to prevent environmental contamination and end the pollution of our air and water. For example, I have led efforts to protect the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge. He passed into law Chattahoochee River Act to restore ecosystem. Well, that's good. Okay. And climate change, but then he comes out and loses all credibility. Climate change driven by greenhouse gas. I want to puke when I read this. This is bullcrap. Ain't nothing changed. They're the ones causing any warming of it. There's nothing warming. Greenhouse gas emissions poses a severe risk to health and prosperity, which is why we are actively. I guess he believes all this bull malarkey, because once again, you got these idiot representatives that didn't pay attention in science class. We need real scientists like myself in office that can look things up, that have a brain. My God, I have to reach out to Putin to hear an intelligent conversation. What do our idiots say? Biden's so smug, he rolls his eyes when the news people ask him questions. These idiots I email, they don't even bother to answer me back. They can't complete a sentence without stuttering. Who's running this place? A bunch of morons. Okay? Business people. We don't need that. Anybody would believe this crap. Away from. And why we are actively investing in a transition away from energy sources that are severely degrading our environment. Such a transition is urgently necessary. Shortly after taking office, I set a goal to establish Georgia as a leading state in advanced energy research. Oh, that's scary. I created like that governor who I voted for, Kemp. What did he invest in? In my county to build these stupid lithium batteries, these dumb electric cars that nobody wants. They've lost so much stocks. And ding ding, it's finally dawned on them. Nobody wants them. They're run by machines. They decide they want to take you out. It's all Wi-Fi. They'll just make things go wrong with the cars, which have happened to people. One guy was driving down the road, the car locked up. He got rid of that car. So fast. Yeah, and these big old buildings, there's nobody in them. They're building these huge buildings There's nobody in them. Blah, blah, blah. Or clean hydrogen energy, blah, blah. Solar, blah, blah, blah. Paying good jobs. What jobs? Thank you for contacting me. So I write him back. Dear sir, sorry, but my letter to you did not involve anything about methane emissions. And blah, blah. Then he hasn't written me back. Nothing back. Okay? And, here's this ex-Air Force officer exposes. I sent him all my second email. Okay, I sent him a second email. Over here. This one right here. I'm going to have to do part 2 really quick on this. But I sent him this one, which includes this video in ex-Air Force. I'll play this before I end part 1, and I'll continue with part 2 on my second letter.
I knew. It validated everything I ever thought. And I thought, I've spent 9 years of my life trying to protect human health, and here we are, violating law after law after law. Just sitting here, instead of protecting the people, we are poisoning the people. And you ask yourself, if this is true and we are spraying the people, where are the pilots? Where are the people? I don't know if you pay attention, but look at Snowden. Look at Manning.
Snowden's a hero.
People don't come forward because these supposed whistleblower act protections that you have are not enforced, they're not supported, and they really don't exist. Geoengineering is occurring, it's been occurring, it is not new, and your tax dollars are funding this. So it is unethical every day for all the other people that are out there that work.
Alright, I'm going to end this now and continue on part 2.